My name's Adele Onyango and welcome to another episode of Legally Clueless. No, seriously, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. So I've been sitting here for like 1 hour waiting for a surprise rainstorm that just hit Nairobi to pass because the thunder is like super loud, super scary, low-key. Because I'm home alone, I'm just like, hey, what's happening? It sounds like trees are falling. Yeah, so when I turned on my mic, then it started raining and all you were going to hear is a thunderstorm. So if it pops up as I'm recording and it sips into this episode, I'm not getting beaten, trees are not falling, it's just Nairobi weather. I hope, though, that you've had a fantastic week. Welcome to episode 83. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If this is your first time ever listening to the podcast, welcome to the tribe. If you are part of the tribe, you know I got love for you. Remember, you can catch this podcast on Instagram. Our Instagram page is Legally Clueless Podcast. If you're going to chit chat about the podcast on Twitter, please use the hashtag Legally Clueless. I love being involved in those conversations. I genuinely stalk everybody who shares about the podcast because I feel like we're now automatically family. Anyway, this episode is super awesome because it's going to have you believing in your dreams again once we get to the very end. The story that is featured is absolutely powerful. Listen to this.
Close to Starehe Boys Center. That's where my dad had a kiosk. My mom was like, okay, I'm just going to suffer with my kids. I'm going to move with my kids to the kiosk. Even my mom would ask us, what is making your kids happy? Why are you laughing? Like, there is literally no food in this house. So I started looking for a job. We want someone who has like 5 years experience. If you don't employ me, how am I gonna get the experience? So I was scrolling on my Facebook. I saw there was this advertisement of the next face of Africa, and the girl that they used in that poster, I saw, this girl just looks like me. So I signed the first agency. Then it turned out even they didn't have like legal papers for running the agency, and then I became first runners-up Miss Universe Kenya 2018. My first casting was for Christian Dior. It was like, I nailed that casting. The next day, they did the show. I was not called. After Fashion Week, I got signed immediately in Spain. I was able to do Vogue, Spain, Harper's Bazaar.
So that's the story by Michelle. It's coming up in this episode on 100 African Stories. Back to this past week, still wishing and hoping that your week was okay, or maybe even great. Friday was World Mental Health Day, and I was following a lot of conversations around wellness, around things people are doing as individuals who have different mental health conditions, and I landed on another app. If you're new to this podcast, I have a slight addiction to apps, especially wellness apps. I'm always willing to try something new. So the two that are part of my daily routines are Fabulous to build healthy routines. So what time do you wake up in the morning? Taking time for yourself. I don't know. If you use Fabulous, you know what I'm talking about. And then I use Mindshift because I do have anxiety, and that's an app that was made specifically for anxiety. And then I stumbled now on Friday during World Mental Health Day on another app that somebody who I know was diagnosed with some form of depression is using, and they say it's really helping them take time in the day for themselves. It's called Shine. I can't tell you so much about it just yet because I'm only on day 2 of using it. But what I do like is it has an option for you to, well, they call it create space to restore. So it's like you take 5 minutes, and in those 5 minutes, they have like mini podcasts. So like 5-minute audio messages. I don't know if you can call it a podcast. It's a 5-minute audio message from various people in the wellness world. So like yoga instructors, therapists, just talking about different themes and topics. So I've listened to 2 so far. Not bad. I'm going to see if it's going to work for me, or if I'm just like, maybe I have enough apps already. So if you are using Shine and you love it, please message me, Instagram at Legally Clueless Podcast. I'm always down to talk about wellness apps and figure out who's loving what. I hope it's not going to end up being as weird as Replica. That was a wild ride. Anyway, I mentioned this in episode 82. I am in the process of quitting coffee. I backslid at a point last week, but now This is day 5 without coffee. The reason I'm doing it is 2 things. One, I don't know how I just came to the very clear realization. I mean, it's something that you know, but now I'm super conscious about it. Self-care and self-love is not just like a face mask or affirmations. It's also taking care of your mind and taking care of your body and what you put inside it. This is something I knew, but then to make those conscious steps, I don't know, I think I would find excuses and things like that. So, coffee and anxiety do not go well together. So I'm trying to get it out of my system, which I've tried quite a few times. However, the last time I tried to quit coffee was when I was doing a breakfast show. My shift was at 5 a.m. No wonder I was not successful in quitting because 5 a.m. kind of need your coffee. And then you have to sound like you're happy with the world. Where? So at least now things are a bit calmer. I tried to substitute it with lemon green tea, which was so disgusting. Ugh, yuck. I was like, even if we're quitting coffee, it does not have to be a struggle. So now I have substituted coffee with, in the mornings, chamomile tea with honey, not sugar. And during the day, because yes, I used to drink coffee throughout the day. During the day, whenever I feel like, let me make some coffee, I have water instead. Day 5, not bad. Day 1 to 3, I was very lethargic, but now I'm okay. I think because I've grasped that where it's like, this is good for you and nobody is going to save you or like to take care of your body the way you can. So just start making those decisions now. Stop making the excuses. Oh, other great news that happened this week, which is just so wild, is I'm on a global top 100 under 40 list. It's done by MyPad. They're an organization affiliated to the UN, and they try to bring Africans and people of African descent together to network, to talk about development of the continent. And then they yearly have this list that recognizes certain icons. So I'm in the media and culture category. What's so dope, it has everything to do with not only my work in traditional radio, but they also recognize my work in podcasting. So I'm just like, yay! Because this is my space. And another thing that I was just so happy about, I was chatting with my sister and my best friend Val. I'm like, yeah, it's great I'm on the list. Like, yes. It's validating. I've done ABCD. But the best part is Burna Boy is in the category as well as Yvonne Orji. So it's just like, wow, pretty awesome. But I did realize when I got the news that some of these wins that I get have stopped being as sweet. Because like when I want to send the news to people, I send it maybe only to, not Falgun. Falgun is in the house here with me. So whenever I get that news, he's getting it in real time with me. So I'll send it to my 2 sisters, to Val and Stephanie, who I think I've mentioned on the podcast before. She's my cousin, but really my sister. And when I'm in the process of sending them the news, I always think, I wish I could, I wish when people died, they still had access to like text us. You know what I mean? Or that we could still text them, even if we couldn't see them. Because genuinely, I am here and I'm able to do the things that I'm doing because of sacrifices my mom made. That woman went through hell and back. An abusive marriage, leaving with 3 kids, losing her job while like raising us. And even when she was married, I think she was like the sole parent really in terms of responsibilities. Then came the like breast cancer diagnosis, battling that for over 10 years while still maintaining us in school. We never went hungry. She like read my first ever radio presenter contract and like guided me. This is how you negotiate. This is how you ask for stuff. This is how you communicate what you want. So these wins are good. I mean, they're good. Yes, I've worked hard. I know. But I just wish like when people died, we could still contact them like SMS. Not even phone calls. Like I've reached the point where I'm like, just only chats. Imagine. I'd really have appreciated that. Like death is just so final. But anyway, it's good news all the same. And I'm super proud of myself. So we need to jump into the song of the week, which is for you who is probably too scared to try whatever it is in your mind that's your dream or a project you want to pursue. Maybe you tried it once and it didn't go the way you wanted. Maybe it failed. Maybe somebody criticized it and you're just like, well, fuck that shit. I'm not trying that again. I really want you to listen to this song. It's called Try, right? And it is by Madison McFerrin. Please watch the music video. I've put the link in the description of this episode. She once performed the American anthem. And I don't know, it didn't go well, the performance. It was like she was off key or something. And in this day and age of social media, she got trolled for days. In fact, the music video starts with a clip of Snoop Dogg trolling her for that particular performance. First, she's more graceful than most, because even if I feel like that, stop insulting me, you know. But what I love about the song, there's a point where she says, I hope I don't get these lyrics wrong, but she says, what is it you're waiting for? It's time to open your eyes and see you are what you're waiting for. I really loved that line. I feel like sometimes we're like, I don't have everything I need to start or to try this thing. I need to have this person around me or this amount of money or whatever it is, when really you're all you need to try. Listen to it. I hope you enjoy it. So let's jump into 100 African stories. The story is by Michelle. She's a Kenyan model. I tracked her down on Instagram. Legit slid into her DM. And no, wait. Yeah, what happened was I tracked her down on Instagram, followed her. And I was like trying to work up the courage to be like, hey, I have this podcast. Do you want to share a story on it? And then she ended up DMing me about an Insta story because she followed me back when I followed her. And so now when she brought herself to my DM, I was like, in fact, friends, I've been wanting to reach out to you. I genuinely think this story will have you believing in your dreams again. I mean, she takes us from a kiosk in Starehe to Paris Fashion Week to Vogue Spain. 100 African stories on Legally Clueless. Stories from Africa.
My name is Michelle Achieng Opio. I was raised in Nairobi, but generally from Siaya, Alego. My dad is from Siaya and my mom is from Game, and I'm currently in London. I've been here for 1.5 years now, but after every 6 months I go back to Kenya. So generally I live in Kenya, but I just travel for work. Generally I come from a very, very humble background, raised by a single mom since I was, I think, 12 years old, because my dad died in 2008. I have 2 sisters, Wendy, Emily, and Derek, my elder brother. So we raised 4 of us with my single mom without like any support of like relatives and stuff like that. So it was just all about her raising us. My dad died in 2008 and now I'm 22. So that's 12 years ago. Then after, because my dad was like the main giver, like the head of the family. My mom was just like, a cute lady who's just staying at home, and my dad would bring food at home and stuff like that. And after my dad died, so she was like, okay, what am I going to do now? This guy was bringing everything at home, and now I'm stuck here with these kids to raise them up. And when my dad was there, because my dad was a people's person, so people will come home, visitors. But after he died, like everyone else vanished. We couldn't see our uncles or aunties, so my mom was just like left alone. So my mom was like, I'm not able to pay rent. I'm not able to do this and that. And by that time, my dad had bought a kiosk. We were living in Race Course, close to Starehe Boys Center. That's where my dad had a kiosk. He had 3 kiosks, then he sold 2 of them, and my mom was left with 1 of them. That's where my mom started doing selling tumba clothes and salon business. By that time, we had to leave from our house and we moved to this kiosk, to live in kiosk. So generally, we just say that we stayed on the street for some years because it was like a messy kiosk. If you talk about kiosks in Nairobi, like those Mabatis kiosks and stuff like that. So then my mom was like, okay, you guys cannot stay here. You're going to go and stay with your auntie. So at my auntie's place was another nightmare, struggle and stuff like that. A few years later, my mom was like, okay, I'm just gonna suffer with my kids. I'm gonna move with my kids to the kiosk again. So we stayed at the kiosk until good Samaritans came, who came and just like saved us, paid our school fees, took us to school. I graduated. My brother is still doing actuarial science, and right now I'm the one like supporting my family, supporting my siblings. So there was this point when my brother has had finished primary school. So then my mom akasema, this boy amefanya vizuri sana shule, so I don't know what we're gonna do. And at that time I think my brother was called in Miranda, so my mom was like, I'm not able to pay school fees na sijui nitafanyaje, so let me just do this, let me just come up with like those forms. So she wrote there, support my son got this grade, I need to take him to school. And so my mom was known around the kiosk area because they had worked around there for a long time, and my dad was working in security services around Starehe. So my mom went from kiosk to kiosk asking for money so that they can support my brother to join high school. So there was in this particular salon, it happened that Mariga's mom was there. McDonald Mariga mom was in that salon. Then Mariga mom was like, okay, my son is coming back and I know he will be so happy to support your son to go to school. And my mom was like, okay, I just hope this works out. But at that point, my mom was still asking for contribution and everything. So then the next day in the morning, Mariga came to our kiosk where we were sleeping, and we're just like on the floor and everything, like sleeping on cushions and stuff. We were there, and Mariga comes and like, okay, who is going to school? And he say, my brother is going to school, and he say he's gonna support my brother. So a few weeks later, they got us a place to stay, and they started supporting my brother to go to school. And me, after I finished primary school, a certain lady, because I'm talented with doing hair, like plaiting and doing all that stuff and braiding. So I was helping my mom with hair, and there's this lady, I did her hair, and my mom told her, okay, even my daughter has finished primary school, and now I'm kind of struggling to take her to high school. And this lady said, oh, I'm gonna support her to go to school. I joined high school also. The same thing with my sister. Victor Wanyama came in and said, I'm gonna pay Wendy's school fees. Like that. And now it got to Emily, and right now I'm the one supporting Emily, now the younger sister, because God has blessed me and placed me in a position that I'm capable to do that as per now. So in high school, my brother joined high school. My brother never had issues with school fees and stuff. So it came to me, this lady said that she's gonna help me. Even I don't know her, she's not my tribe. I just met her for the first time that day at the salon, and she started supporting me. So she paid my form one. Then at my form one, I was the first one with a B plus, and this lady was so mad at me. It was like, Kenya has no room for lazy women, Michelle. You have to work hard. You can't bring B pluses. I'm paying other people's school fees. They get giving me A's, and you're coming here with B. At that time, I was like, "Hey, man, me, I think that this was good. This is a good grade. I was the best in my class. How come this lady is like all over me and putting all this pressure and everything? Like she was pinching me and doing all this stuff, and I was like, I'm telling you, beggars, they're not choosers. Like literally, you just have to perform. I was just trying to do all my best. Then she got married, and she said she's not gonna be able to support me anymore because now she wants to support her family, and the husband is coming and the babies are coming. Me and my mom were stuck again, and my mom is like, who's gonna pay your school fees now? So and then Mariga's mom came back again, was like, I'm gonna support this girl. Like since I was growing up with my mom and my dad not being there, with the suffering and the struggling even to get food and stuff like that, there was no moment that I was worried or scared. Even now is when I ask myself, like, how come in that situation I was supposed to be like in a deep mess? Like I was supposed to be like so sad and angry and with bitterness and stuff. I was not that girl. I was just like happy. I was like, okay, something is just gonna happen. I'm just gonna go to school. I'm gonna study. I'm gonna do this. Like I never had a pressure at any particular moment that I felt like I'm gonna lose it. My mom was the one who was like always worried and scared. Even my mom would ask us, "What is making your kids happy? Why are you laughing? Like there's literally no food in this house, and all of you are just like happy and excited." So like there was no moment in my life that I was like worried or scared because I just felt like something good is gonna happen. Like something is going to work out, like God is going to open a way. Yeah, so after high school, then I finished high school. Then I joined Kenya Utalii College, where I did front office operation. So during this moment, even the modeling thing never like came to me, because people would just like tell me, oh, you look like, even people would call me a model, oh, a model, you're so tall, blah blah blah. Like I used to hate it, because when I thought of modeling, I was seeing like the way pageantry is like in Kenya, and the way like girls would be asked like, oh, when you become like Miss Kenya, what are you gonna do? And the girls would just be like, I want to take care of the needy, I want to give charity, I want to support the people at the orphanage, I want to give out clothes, I want to, like, so many times they'll talk about their really good things to do for the community, but I wouldn't see them like talk about like, I want to empower the girl child, I want to empower like women, I want to like bringing change in the society, like generally they just talk about how they're gonna give to the needy and the poor, which is a really good thing, and everyone is doing it. But they wouldn't talk about like changing like the community to like a much better. I don't know if I'm making sense. Yeah, so pushing people to discover their talent, pushing people to discover their like potential or their purpose in life, because I just feel like this is like the most important things, like discovering who you were, discovering what you love, what you enjoy doing, or someone to just like raise you up to your potential. So generally people wouldn't talk about that. And I was like, okay, pageant is just like all about being beautiful. And so I didn't know much about it. And I was not like so much excited about pageantry. And also I knew like there was like a lot of corruption going on. You have to be like this, or you're supposed to be from this tribe, or you're supposed to know people for you to win. So I was not like much into it. So I was like, I'm gonna concentrate on my hospitality career, or do something with, I really wanted to be like into cabin crew and hostessing. I was like, oh, I want to do this, I want to fly, I want to go all over. So I finished at Utali. Then I went to Watamu for my internship at Hemingway's Watamu, which was amazing, which was a great experience. After that, after Watamu, then I went back to Nairobi, so now to look for a job now officially. That was in 2018, around April. So I started looking for a job. I'm going like to Hilton Hotel, Kempinski, like all these like top hotels, in Nairobi. I'll do like interviews, and they'll be like telling me like, oh, you're still so young. Others will be like, we want someone who has like 5 years experience. Like, if you don't employ me, how am I gonna get the experience? Like, I'm so committed. I'm willing to study. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to, like, I was so desperate to get employed in Nairobi. And every morning that I will wake up and see my mom, I'll be like, this lady has really struggled to raise us. She'll be so disappointed. I just finished and I'm still sitting here every morning looking at her, and I don't have somewhere to go to. So I was like so pressured. So I tried so hard. Then there was a Bible school that was called Word of Faith Bible School. So I said, okay, instead of just sitting at home and waiting for all these interview calls to come up, I'm just gonna start going to Bible school. So I did the Bible school it was for 2-3 weeks. Then after I finished the Bible, so during the Bible school, they said, write 3 things that you want God to do for you by the end of this Bible school. So I just wrote down, I said, I want international job. I don't know what job is gonna be, but I just want to go internationally. I'm tired of staying here. And that time I didn't even have a passport. So say I want an international job, I want to support my mom, I want to take care of my mom, and I want to be able to pay for my sister's school fees. I don't want them to suffer anymore. I just want to be there and support them. And also I said I just want God to connect me with my destiny connectors, people who are going to take me to the next level, people who are meant to be in my life. So after the Bible study, I was scrolling on my Facebook. Actually, I was not an internet person. So I was scrolling on my Facebook, and I saw there was this advertisement of the next face of Africa. And the girl that they used in that poster, I saw, this girl just looks like me. Maybe I can do this thing. So they say they're going to visit different countries, and they say they're going to come in Kenya sometime at the end of July. And I said, okay. So it was called Few Next Face of Africa. I was so excited. I said, okay, this is a modeling casting, but this just looks like, it's not like just modeling. It's just like something beyond pageantry. So when I looked at an account of this management, it was from Nigeria, that was coming to Kenya to do a casting for the next phase of Africa. I saw those girls, they were like in billboards of Calvin Klein, Gucci, Prada, and I was like, oh man, these girls, they just look like me. I can do this. Like literally, I could do, if I'm able to be like on Prada or Gucci, why not? So then I went for the casting. For the casting, like my first time like wearing heels and like wear, I don't know, vests, and here go with natural hair, like no makeup, no nothing. So then when I got to the casting, I saw like these top girls. I just see them on Miyadi, on Nice and Lovely campaigns in Kenya. Like I just see them on TV. I was like, oh my God, these are the girls on TV. They're also on this casting. Like I was so surprised. I was so shocked. So I'm just sitting there because I have no idea of what I'm supposed to do. So I was sitting there. First, I made the first cut because the first cut was about the height and everything. Then after I made the cut, then they selected 8 people because there were like so many girls. I think out of more than 800 girls there, then they select 8 people out of the 800. Then they say they are gonna get back to Earth, and then they're gonna select people who are gonna go to Nigeria for the competition. During that time, oh my God, I was waking up at 4, now waiting for the feedback from this Nigerian modeling brand. So I was just like waking up at 4, going for a run, coming back because I knew I'm not that skinny as per the way I'm seeing these girls. So I just started like running in the morning, walking on heels. Even my mom thought I was possessed. It was like, what's wrong with this girl? Like, you should think of like going and advancing in school. This modeling thing is not gonna help you. You're not going anywhere, Michelle, even if you don't have a passport. Then I said I want to get a passport. So my mom gave me some money. I went and applied for a passport as I was waiting for the feedback from this Nigerian modeling agency. I wake up, do workouts. I even like I joined Instagram. I started like posting walking videos, and people will be like, "Oh, you're swinging too much. No, that's not how you do it." So people just like start commenting and like hate and love and everything. And I was like, "Yeah, you're doing so well. You're doing so great." Others start comparing me with other like supermodels, like, oh, you look like Naomi, you look like Mayor, you look like I don't know who, you look like. So I started like knowing people in the modeling industry who people are referring me to because I had no idea. I started knew like Kendall and Kelly and Gigi and all those stuff. Then as time went by, this Nigerian modeling agency, they had like a collaboration with a certain agency in Kenya. This agency in Kenya called us. They called all the top 8. And then when we got there, like, I hope all of us were going to Nigeria. Then when we got there, this lady just started by, girls, I have bad news. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And that day, actually, I packed. I packed before I went to to meet this director from this agency in Kenya, which had collaboration with the agency in Nigeria. So I had packed and everything. I knew I'm going to Nigeria. Like I knew I'm the perfect one for this one. So when I got there, this lady told us, "Girls, I have bad news," and we were like, "Okay, this is not good." Then she said, "I'll just say Miss B." Say Miss B said she didn't see any potential models in Kenya. And I was like, are you serious? Actually, Miss B didn't see any potential models in Kenya. And I was like, what? Even a single one out of the 8 of us, there is no potential. And I was like, shit, like that like provoked me. It gave me this anger that I have to prove to this lady that there is potential here, you know, because I saw myself there, like literally, I saw myself. I had packed. I have been waking up at 4, walking around the house, running everywhere, doing workouts and everything, under depression, anxiety for this opportunity. I've seen myself on Calvin Klein billboard. And here someone is saying we don't have potential. Like that thing gave me this pain. So from that meeting, I was with the current Miss Universe Kenya, Stacy. So we are with Mushuki. We are together in the car, in the matatu going home. Actually, she was more depressed than me because I'm quite a positive person. She was like, "Oh, Michelle, so what are we going to do now? We just hope they change their mind or something. But at the end of it, they ended up choosing her, and she went to Nigeria to represent us, which was really amazing because I felt so good. At least they ended up choosing someone rather than just leaving Kenya out of, there was no point of them coming all the way to Kenya and not choosing anyone. That aside, so I kept on like developing on myself, working on myself. Like now I started like focusing on modeling more rather than my hospitality career because I saw like, okay, there is potential here if I'm able to do this. So after that, I started like working on myself, posting videos and pictures and everything. I had my friend who was like charging me 50 bob per photo because he was learning like photography. So every time I'm in town, I'll just like call him because he was studying at KMTC. I'll be like, "Hey, I'm in town. Can you come take photos?" So he'll take photos of me and then I'll post them on Instagram. I'll take even videos like spraying myself, advertising. I'll just like wearing glasses and be like, "Ooh, advertising glasses," and be like, "Hey, this girl has visions, man." So then after that, agencies started like DMing me, and so many of them they are from Nigeria. So I was like, some of these agencies from Nigeria they might be scammers. So they'd be like texting me, "Oh, you're so amazing, you're so nice, we'd like to sign you, blah blah blah." So I signed the first agency. Then it turned out even they didn't have like legal papers for running the agency. Then I decided to drop them. So I said, I think because I'm quite in a hurry and I'm quite desperate for this, I think that's why things are not like working the way I wanted. So I said, I'm just going to take things down. I'm just going to work on myself. And then the agency I want to get signed to, I'm going to reach out to them myself. So I started like taking Polaroids, like doing walk videos and stuff. And then I started like sending to I wrote down the top 20 agencies I want them to sign me. This is just still within 2018 around September. And then I wrote down and I sent them email. And out of the 20 agency, only one agency responded to me. Or like, "Oh, you look amazing, but try to get back to us in 2019. Then there was another agency that they replied to me on Instagram. They were like, "Oh, your hair, you look too pretty. You look like a pageant girl." And I was like, "Okay, I look like a pageant." At that time, Miss Universe, they were looking for contestants, and I was taking my friend to Miss Universe. And my friend was like, "Why don't you contest for Miss Universe?" And I was like, okay, there was an agency that told me I look like a pageant girl. Maybe this pageant thing might work. I casted for Miss Universe and then I made the cut. Then at Miss Universe, and I was like, I just said two things. I said, if I'm going to win Miss Universe, I'm a pageant girl. But if I'm going to become first runners up or second runners up, I am a high fashion girl. So let's see how this works. That's what I told myself. So because I felt like out of all the contestants, I felt like I am in a good chance of winning it. But if I don't get to win it, then it means that my destiny is defined to be in a different part. And then I contested for Miss Universe, and then I became first runners up Miss Universe Kenya 2018. And then I was like, okay, then maybe I'm a high fashion girl. Then after the Miss Universe contest, agencies, they started like now serious agencies. They started like texting me and reaching out to me like, "We'd like to sign you, we like to." So I told four agencies, I told them because I really wanted to travel. I really wanted to prove my mom wrong. Like, I am leaving this Kenya and I just want to travel the world. Because my mom was like, "You're not going anywhere, just chill. What who are party visa uku? People don't get visas." So I told these four agencies, okay, if you want me to get signed to your agency, you have to get me a placement internationally because that is what I wanted. So there's this one agency in Nigeria and one agency in South Africa. So two of them they got me placement, but one of them got me really they got me placement in 2 days. So I had placement in Paris and Italy, Milan, Italy in 2 days. And I was like, oh wow. Then when I checked, I said, okay, fine, I'm gonna sign your contract if you got me a placement. So then after signing the contract, I got started with her in Paris, in Italy, and then they told me you're gonna travel next year, February for the fashion week. I was like, are you serious? Then January, the end of January, they sent me the papers and everything to apply for my visa. And I was like, okay, this is happening. Are you serious? Like, I'm going to travel? Like, here are the documents and everything. So this is me with my passport now going to the embassy with my sister. So first of all, even I didn't know how this thing worked. Nilienda huko hata without appointment. Kufika kwa gate, security is like, guy, young lady, do you have appointment? I was like, no. Then getting there, the receptionist gave me an appointment. They say, okay, come on the 13th of February. So that was 13th February 2019. When I went back for the appointment, so this lady who was collecting all the documents and everything, like my passport is clean. I've never been anywhere. I just received my passport like 2 months ago. So this lady is asking me, even if you've never been to Uganda or Tanzania, are you serious? Okay, what what have you been doing? I was like, oh, I was in Italy, I graduated, then I was trying to look for a job, and now I'm trying to do modeling, and I got signed. So now I'm planning to go to France. Then she was like, so your first country will be France? I said, yeah. This lady just started like harassing me. I was like, oh, there is this document missing. Your insurance is like this. I was literally crying. I was like, God, now what is happening? I thought I have all the papers. I have everything. Like, literally, I really want this. So I went back to the insurance. They worked everything out. I talked to my agency with the documents that were missing. They sent them. Then I gave them out, and 1 week later, I went. They called me to go and collect my visa. So on my visa collection, two people who are ahead of me collecting their visa, all of them they were told no. They're like, oh, your visa was denied. I'm like, why was my visa denied? This lady is like telling them, just read it. And the guys were like, this thing is in French. How am I going to understand? Like, just go and look for a translator. And I was like, I hope mine is not like that. So when I got there, this lady was like, okay, sign. So I signed. There's some documents, and she gave me back my visa. Then when I got out, I was like, I have visa and even 15 days extra. Oh my god, I was like jumping all over. I was like, I'm literally traveling tomorrow to France. Hey, I felt like I'm in heaven for sure. I just went back home and I told my mom, and my mom was like, what? Like, in this family, people don't travel like this. Like, it was, I just felt like my dreams were coming true. I just didn't know what to do with myself. I was just happy. I was just excited. I was just running up and down. I was like, I was literally almost crying. So after that, then I traveled to France. I thought that, oh, well, this is it, Michelle. See, you wanted to go abroad. You're in France now. Look at you. So I got to France. Then there was a cab which picked me up to take me to the hotel. So I got to the hotel. I was like, well, this is the model life. Ish. Hotel, everything is just there. Like if you like you can stretch yourself, you can do like it was like a life that I never imagined. So getting there, the next day they told me you have castings. My first casting was for Christian Dior. And I was like, "Wah, Michelle, supermodel. See, this was your dream." So going for the Dior casting is this big casting director. Getting there, then I walked. And you know the way my walk is still terrible. No one has ever taught me how to walk on the runway. I was just walking, and this lady was like, hey, young girl, you have a really amazing walk. Where are you from? It's like, oh, I'm from Kenya. It's like, oh, nice. Can you walk again for us? Then I walked again, and it's like, okay, let's take some pictures. And then I'm just there taking pictures. Woo! I was like, I nailed that casting. Christian Dior, I'm going to walk Christian. The next day, they did the show. I was not called, and I was like, what happened? I thought this lady was excited to see me. And I was told, welcome to the industry. You know, they can be so happy, they can be so excited and everything, thinking that you got the show. But literally, that is how it works. And pressure started coming in when even I don't know how to use the metros. I'm used to matatus. Then it's like, I don't know, metros, you have to use trains, you have to use Google Maps, City Mapper. Oh my God, I was so lost. And that time I don't have internet. Uku Safaricom inaniambia data roaming. I'm like, oh, I need to buy a SIM card. So then there were these Nigerian girls, I met them in a castle. I was like, I don't know how to move around. I just need some help. So I asked them, how am I gonna move around? How am I gonna read the city map? I was getting lost with the train all the time. And also I am a new face, and my agency is running me around to meet so many other different clients. Fashion week was 7 days. The first day, hey Michelle, no show. Second day, no show. And I was like, God, you didn't take me all this way to frustrate me. No, this is not my life. I'm not going to accept this one. I have to book. People they know I traveled. I'm in Paris. No way. Like, I'm not accepting failure. This is not happening to me. Then the third day, I did a casting, and the client liked me. Then I did the fitting, and then that's when I started doing the shows. So I did like Glow Rush, I did Atlane, Ellis Hub. So I started doing like really, really top designers, and I just like, oh, thank God. So I did the shows, and after Fashion Week, I got signed immediately in Spain. I flew all the way to Spain, to Madrid, Spain, and then I stayed in Spain for I think 3 months. I worked there, and it was amazing. So that was the beginning of my career, and it was amazing. I was able to do Vogue Spain, Harper's Bazaar, and different other brands in Spain. I was able to work with Zara, so was just like a dream come true the moment I moved from Paris to Spain. So after Spain, I went back to Kenya for a little bit, and then I was able to come back. I was able to come to London, and also London was just a dream. So from London, then I started like traveling around. I started going to back to Spain, to Germany, to Netherlands, to different other cities and different other countries. I'll be able to work with like top brands, like top designers. This is something that I never thought of, something that I've never learned, something that I just feel like it's inborn, because there was a time that I was working with this really top brand, and when you're working for a top brand, you're quite tensing and stuff, like, oh my god, I need to deliver, I need to. But when I get on set, I don't know what happens to me, because I just like do some stuff and I'm just be me and just do some poses and everything, and just like see the photographer and everyone on set, they're just amazed. They're like, you're amazing, like I've never seen something like that, this is so good, you're going so far, Michelle. Like, when I get feedback like that from like photographer, from top designers, I just feel like I'm gonna do well. Like, this is going to, like, I am meant to do this. And when I see the images and I see myself, and I'm like, wow, okay, Michelle, did you do that? Was that you? Like, so those are like most moments that I feel like I am so proud. I just need people out there to know that, okay, you can come from this to this. You can believe in this to this. Even now, if people tell me, like, people say that it's difficult to get a visa, it's difficult to do this, it's difficult, I'll say, no, I was able to do it. And it happened to me. It has happened to me, and I know it's gonna happen to other people. Okay, my mom is so happy, because obviously I'm able to like support her. She doesn't have to like strain a lot now. I'm able to support my siblings. Yeah, she's quite happy about it. But still, my mom, she's still trying to understand this modeling thing and everything. She just sees me on magazines and really beautiful photos and everything. But as you know, like, also an African home, despite also I graduated and everything. And my mom is all this like doctor thing and nurse thing, and all that kind of stuff. But she's happy about it. She's very proud, and she's very excited and everything. And also, on the other hand, my mom has been, because my brother is the firstborn, and he's still doing actuarial science. So my mom is still like eyeing on my brother's success. I'm here, yes, you're there, you're doing well, but also I'm still waiting to see how your brother is gonna do. I don't know if you understand that perspective. So yeah, generally my mom's hope and everything is on my brother, to see how my brother is gonna do, because now she feels like I'm at a better place. Generally for me, it's like, always believe in yourself and always trust your gut. The beauty belongs to those people who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So the moment you believe in the beauty of how you want your dreams to be like, of how you want your vision to be like, of how you want your goals to be like, it's quite easy to attain it as you've visualized. So like, vision and setting a goal and working towards it, that's the beauty of it. So the beauty belongs to those people who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
Catch more African stories in the next episode of Legally Clueless. Oh man, I was so happy after recording this story. I was so happy for Michelle. I was just like, isn't it so wild that when you are so intentional about what you want to achieve, it seems like it's magic when it happens, but really no, it's your intentionality. It's you really focusing your goals on that one thing. And then I felt so happy for our family, from their beginnings to now where they are, mad at Christian Dior. Just like, what is happening? Surely you liked her walk. I identified with, oh yeah, when she talked about how when you lose someone in your family, somebody like a parent, after the funeral, how the number of people who used to check up on you, who used to come and visit like the deceased parent, where that number goes down. It goes down. I know there are people who, like my mom, helped with serious life issues they were going through. One particular woman, she once ran into my sister and acted like she didn't know my sister. And even in the conversation, she acted like she didn't know my mom. I was so angry when I heard that because I know how my mom was so selfless about helping her. But there are people like that. I don't know, after funerals, you really, unfortunately, learn a lot about the not so good sides of people. But do remember, if you want to share your story on this podcast, it's very possible. All you have to do is send a 1-minute story demo. Record it on WhatsApp, WhatsApp audio note, and send it to the Legally Clueless hotline number via WhatsApp. And the number is +254 768 628 790. What's a story demo? Basically, you're just telling me a bit about the story that you want to share. Once you send the story demo, we'll take it from there. Also, on the Legally Clueless hotline number, you can send me WhatsApp audio notes in case you listen to a particular episode and there's something in it that resonates with you. I mean, chat to me. This is our space.
This is Phoebe. So after listening on episode 73, I think I have a new course of action. I'm a teacher. I'm 26. I'm turning 26 in October. I've just realized that we are the ones who are killing literature in this country because we take books and we shove them down the throats of kids. We make it look so sad and so boring and so miserable. We are the problem. So I'm going to start with my small group of students. I teach in a private school in Kiserian. So let's just maybe enjoy literature. You're great. You're such dope vibe, you're such positive energy, and listening to you on a Monday morning is everything. Like, I pile your episodes that I can just listen to them on a Monday morning. Keep it up. I love you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. And it's so nice to know that Magunga's story really influenced you and inspired you to actually change how you do things with your students. That's really powerful. Do remember that this podcast plays on Trace Radio in Kenya. Head over to traceradio.co.ke for a list of all the frequencies you can catch Trace on, or on traceradio.co.ke you can actually just stream the station there. This podcast plays on Trace every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9 a.m. and at 8 p.m. as well. That's it for this episode of Legally Clueless. You can share this podcast with your friends. You can keep it for yourself. I'm not judging. Just make sure you're here next week for the next episode.